Boom. Okay. Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. We're live. Cool. All right, guys. Welcome to day number 27 of the 90-day massive action game plan. Those of you guys over on the live stream, do me a favor, comment 27. Give me a 27 down in the chat. Obviously, you guys can see that I have a special guest with me, I believe, on camera. She's over on this side here, I think. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm pointing away from her. I don't really know. There's the email from YouTube. So that means we are officially live, which is super cool. Awesome. 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 So guys, we're going to jump right in. We're going to get into some accountability. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to talk about some awesome stuff and all that. And we're going to talk about something really, really awesome that happened last night. I know some of you guys were on live with us, which was really, really cool. And let's just get right into it. Catherine, welcome. You're the on the hot seat, the special guest for today's day 27 90-day game plan. Thanks for, again, as always, taking time away from Rinley and your fam to come hang out with us here. What's got you excited this morning?
Honestly, just to share some amazing value, like always.
Yep.
I think that's my most exciting part of everything that I do is just getting to share and impact other people to help them build and grow their businesses. So share some
Awesome.
massive value today on a
There you
Monday.
go. There you go. Well, speaking of, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to dive into something we're going to kind of go in a little bit of reverse order today, guys, when it comes to accountability, because last night, Catherine, you did your first webinar in quite a while. Now, for those of you guys that actually did a webinar last week, if you guys did a webinar last week, do me a favor and comment the word webinar. Okay, so drop it here in the Zoom, drop a webinar over on the live stream if you guys actually did a webinar last week. And some of you guys had talked about maybe doing like the buddy system and teaming up and that sort of stuff. So if you guys did a webinar last week, do me a favor and comment the word webinar. Now, here's where we get accountable. Here's where you get accountable to yourself. If you did not do a webinar last week, comment why you didn't do a webinar. Let me know. Be accountable, please. Be accountable to yourself and comment why you did not do a webinar. And at this point, you guys have plenty of opportunity to do that because several people here in the Zoom, over on the live stream, they've all kind of opened up their doors and their arms and said, hey, I'll do webinars with you guys. I'll help you guys out. We can use the buddy system, all that sort of good stuff. So you have people here that are willing to help you. Okay, cool. Let's see. Look at this. Beth, awesome. You did a webinar. Lisa did a webinar. Awesome. Awesome. Albert over on the live stream. Margaret, awesome. Awesome job there. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for that. Now, I don't see any comments coming in for why you didn't do a webinar. So maybe you guys are being shy. If that's the case, again, just be honest. Please just be honest. Be accountable to yourself. Be accountable to our team here. If you didn't do it, just say why you didn't do it. You know what? And then hopefully you'll get sick and tired of putting that excuse down and then you'll eventually go do one. Catherine, you did a webinar last night. You helped host a webinar last night. This was your first webinar in quite some time. You literally walk through. Let me kind of open this up here. Let me make sure I got all the information here. So in here, okay, we have the webinar presentation slides that we make available for everybody. And these are the webinar slides that we went through last night. How did it feel for you doing your first webinar in quite some time?
It was amazing. Honestly, it was long overdue. And it was just, again, so much value packed and having the ability to teach people live and show up, answer questions, and physically show them and walk them through exactly what we do. I think it was just amazing.
Yep.
So much good feedback about it, so many great questions, and things were clear as day. Like that, some people didn't have questions, and then some people had great questions. So I think it's just a great opportunity to provide all the information and again really help that next person.
Yep. Now I'm gonna put you on the hot seat here for a second. You know that webinars close sales.
Mhm.
It's been a while since your last webinar, and you know, and obviously last night you did a webinar, you got sales. So
Yeah.
again, kind of proof in the pudding of what we're talking about here. What in your mind held you back from, why was there so much distance between your last webinar and this one?
Mm, I mean, maybe the obvious lack of priority,
There you go.
maybe really not prioritizing it.
Yeah.
And I'm always 100% honest with you guys. And hosting webinars, I get a little nervous like talking sometimes, and that could kind of be something that holds me back. Because
Hmm.
I'm not better than anybody else. I'm not different than anybody else. Like my results could be your results. Like we all have the same ability to show up, do a webinar, do a live, put out the content. It's just a matter of actually doing it. So I think it was really just scheduling in and making it a priority.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I mean, you see the benefit of webinars having done them before and doing them now. Plain and simple, they generate sales. And let's talk about what you're seeing from an aftermath. And I think this is something that for you guys that you guys don't know this, but Catherine and I were chatting here a little bit before we went live, and I was saying that like last time I did my webinar 2 weeks ago, I got like a couple of sales the night of, like the night of the webinar, and then the next day is when I saw the most amount of sales, which is during the follow-up, because sometimes people can't make it on live. They don't, or they'll get on and they'll miss some of it. And then those, you could tell those are the ones that are asking the questions like, hey, what are we actually selling here? Or how much is it? Or, they're asking those real basic questions that you covered all throughout the webinar, but you could tell they missed it. So the webinar replay allows people to watch it on their terms. Like they could watch it, maybe they're watching it at work, maybe they watch it when they get home, but it's on their time. Catherine, talk about like what you're seeing on your end now, whether it be on Facebook, on Insta, people that are texting you, messaging you, the questions that you're getting. What are you seeing post webinar?
Definitely high priority. Like so many people want to get their hands on it, which is amazing. I mean, honestly, I'm flooded with, can I have the replay? Can I have the replay? Which is super, super exciting.
Good
Um,
problems to have, right?
yeah, I mean, it's literally overwhelmingly good, especially when, you're only doing it for one night
Yep.
and people do not want to miss it. It's urgency
Yep.
and, makes them want to get the replay because, too, we're tuning in live and they're watching us teach. They don't want to miss that. So I'm seeing great feedback. And those who actually did join the webinar, texting me with so many great questions and also just great feedback about the value that we offered everybody. So I think that all in all it was a hit for sure.
Yep. And so like the part that, and this is what Kirsty had covered, guys, a couple of weeks ago, is now Catherine specifically is in the post webinar phase, right? So now she's got a lot of people that are going and saying, hey, how can I get a hold of that? What do I do now? Where's the link? All of that sort of stuff. But also there's some specific language that you know, Catherine is using with that to make sure that these people, number one, watch the webinar, number two, kind of get back to her. So there's some ongoing follow up. It's not just here's my link and then you sit back and like, put your feet up on the desk and be like, okay, now let the sales roll in. No, like this is where, Catherine's going to work because, yeah, building up to the webinar was a little bit of work, doing the webinar was some work, but now is when the real really the kind of like the real magic starts to happen is where the most amount of sales are made is post webinar. So this is kind of why we're sharing this stuff with you guys today, because we have this document all laid out for you exactly what to do before, during, and after a webinar. So this is all in your slides. When you guys go to the Massive Action folder, you have your webinar presentations there. And then inside of here, you actually have the slides to use. And then you have all of the language to use, you know, pre-webinar, during the webinar, and then post-webinar. You have all of that language to use right there. So, I mean, Catherine, think about it. Like when you got started, how would it be for you if you had all this information at your fingertips when you got first started?
I probably would have closed a lot more sales.
Yeah. Yep. For
Let's
sure.
just be flat out honest. I mean, because in the beginning, if you don't really have a guide or anything to help you, you're really just throwing mud at the wall. You're trying to see what works. How do I say this in an effective manner?
Yep.
And again, yeah, so this is just literally the roadmap to closing multiple sales. It's not
Yep.
a question of if it works. No, it works. You just got to actually do it because as you said, like it's not like I just throw out my link. Okay, now go ahead and no. Some people may have not watched the webinar all the way through. Some people may have additional questions. So it's good to follow up with them, check in. How can I help you get started? And if they have any hesitation, they're going to let you know. They're going to let you know what questions they have, and you'll be able to walk them through the process of getting started.
100%. Also, Catherine, what you could do if you want is, well, actually, no, we'll hold off on that. What I think was really cool too is I think you had mentioned before we went live that like some of the sales that you got from last night, these are people like you didn't even know. So you literally we're posting on Facebook. Someone ended up getting the link, obviously joining the webinar, and then they joined you last night. They were a sale last night. Um, so what, maybe take us through a little bit of that process, what you did pre-webinar to get people on the webinar.
So, of course, I made multiple videos leading up. So, started advertising on Wednesday last night. Sunday was the webinar. But yesterday, specifically, I would say approximately 8 hours prior, I did like a short form video that was very short to the point, very catchy, live training, like really just announcing and trying to get as many people registered as I absolutely could. And it
Mm-hmm.
took off. The video took off. I would say what I got like, I don't know, maybe around 100 leads registered within that time frame.
Yep.
And same thing on, I post my videos on, Instagram and Facebook. And I had made also a post. So just a post on my page announcing that I was going to be doing a training in 8 hours, teaching people how to make $4,000 from home. Are you coming? Asking a question and DM me to get registered or drop a comment to get registered. And I had about maybe like 5 or 6 people, which is good for me because my engagement for Facebook is still warming up. So it was about literally maybe 20 minutes before we went live on the webinar, and a girl had reached out. She wanted the link, she wanted to get registered, so I was like, boom, here you go. And sure enough, that was my sale, that one of my sales that came through last night. And I had never had a conversation with her prior.
Mm-hmm.
Never. Didn't even, she did not ask me anything afterwards. I had to go find out, oh, this was the person from Facebook, which was really amazing to see.
Awesome. So now, like post webinar, what are some things that you're doing right now, post webinar to go out and basically actively, engage and get more people seeing that webinar, that replay?
So, of course, number one is creating a couple of short form videos, announcing that, do I have a replay? I taught people live, DM for access and things like that. So, at least a minimum of 3 of those videos go out today, stories and a Facebook post as well. Again, announcing that I taught live last night and really honing in on getting people the replay so I can close more leads and sales. So that is my main focus for today. And of course, following up with any DMs that I got. So I have a lot of messages as well, like I didn't get to make it. So making sure that that replay is just going out.
Yeah. And I mean, just so you guys know, like, I mean, we literally have all of that information here in a folder for you guys to go grab. And these are example posts, like as an example, like this one right here, instead of it saying, if I held a training, you could just tweak that to say, I held a training last night that showed people how to make $100 a day, instead of would you want to come? Now you just say, do you want the replay? Like
Yep.
it sometimes like these are the simplest posts, guys, that get the most attention. Like don't feel like you have to like overthink this stuff, but it's really like I don't know if you guys caught what Catherine said, but like what she's doing now is she's not just, hey, the replay's out there. Now I'm just gonna like, fold my arms and hope and pray that everything goes great. It's like, no, now she's going to work. So, Catherine, you said what? You're gonna do a Facebook post, probably multiple regular posts like this here on your screen. You're doing reels, you're posting over on Instagram, you're doing stories. So you're doing multiple things, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So like once now is where, to be honest with you guys, like now is where, the real work begins coming out of that post webinar. So does all this stuff make sense, guys? Like as you guys are kind of going through this process with us over the last 27 days, does all this stuff make sense? Comment makes sense because, over on the live stream here in the Zoom, do me a favor, comment makes sense. Just want to make sure you guys are understanding this. Like everything that is on this list right here, everything that's on this list, this is what we're teaching you, we're showing you, and we're documenting for you throughout this process. We're not just telling you guys this stuff because it's cool and we assume that it's going to work. Like we know it works. Like we just held a webinar last night and I told you guys last week, hey, we're doing a webinar this Sunday. You guys can jump on if you want to go see it. We did a webinar and multiple sales were made. This is not rocket science, guys. This is pardon my French here, but not really because it's my channel. I'll swear if I fucking want to. But like plain and simple, guys, like this shit works. Okay. Like we're not here to just be like, oh, this would be cool if you did this, right? No, like we've documented this multiple times throughout this training process that this is the stuff that we're talking about. And we just, again, demonstrated it last night. And now post webinar, this is where the real kind of work begins, where you start really following up and really driving as many people to that replay as possible. So think what that does for, in Catherine's case, what's that going to do for her YouTube channel? Because now a lot of people are going to her channel to watch that. So that's going to help people see more of her content over there. They're going to see the engagement on the YouTube video. People are going to be commenting on that. And you guys know this, nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. So if there's more people commenting on her posts, there's going to be more people commenting on, her YouTube videos, more people commenting on her Instagram, which get people over to the replay on YouTube. All of this is just building over time. And all it's going to do is help her build and grow her brand, build and grow and get more sales. So plain and simple, guys, like this stuff works. This stuff works. Catherine, any other points in or around the webinar?
No, not really. I mean, I think it's very straightforward. And doing this at least, like I said, twice a month is very, very important. It works. It's just a matter of you actually putting in the effort and doing all of these steps. It is a little strategic in planning, like, okay, what day, make sure that you're getting everyone registered and then following through even days after. But it is so well worth it.
Mm,
And again, like we did it one time, but the replay goes out and out to so many people, and they get all of that massive value from the live training that we just held. So I think you covered everything very smoothly. It's just about actually implementing.
yeah, 100%.
And we've been
And
doing
the
this
good,
for years.
what's that?
We've been doing this for years, holding
Yeah.
webinars like this.
Yep. And literally every single time without fail, when we do a webinar, either as a whole team or as individuals, we
Yep.
always, always, always close sales. So kind of the key here out of all of this, if you ask, my opinion, like I would say that not the secret, but like kind of like the hidden weapon is webinars. Like all this, like, doing the reach outs, doing the Facebook post, going live, short form, consistent short form videos. Obviously, we know that short form videos are the foundation for all of it, right? That gets
Yep.
people, to your channel, from your channel, all of those sort of things. But the one thing that really helps drive sales is webinars. Now, again, not saying you have to do these. We're just telling you from documentation, from proof, is that this is where some real money can be made. This is where some real growth for yourself can happen. Catherine, would you agree to that, that's a fair assessment of everything that's on that list, like what the most effective strategy is?
Yeah, absolutely. For closing more sales, yeah, because again, during the webinar, you're able to go in depth. A lot of people sit on the fence because they have questions, or maybe they have yet to really connect with you. So it's just an amazing opportunity for people to show up, gain all the knowledge that they need so that they can actually make a decision about moving forward. I would say that combined with lives as well. Lives are amazing, amazing opportunity to also, really connect with your audience and things like that. But just maximizing that replay, I think, gives you that leverage that you're able to, keep it going even after you've held the webinar.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want people, like, again, please don't underestimate utilizing that replay. I'll give you a perfect example. Like right now, and Kirsty stated this multiple times before, like her main sales driver is YouTube. But when you dig deeper and you peel back the layer of the onion, specifically the one video that's making her the most amount of sales is a webinar replay. It's not like some, custom video that, she edited with all the B-roll and the music and the subtitles and all those things. No, where she's making the most amount of her sales right now is a webinar replay that she did a couple of weeks ago. So again, like, if, one of the top recruiters on our team who gets the most amount of sales is utilizing a webinar replay, what do you guys think? What do you guys think is kind of like the underlying like secret weapon here? You know what I mean? And I get it. A lot of you guys got to like work your way up to this. You guys got to like, get comfortable being on camera, but that's why we utilize each other. That's why we've talked about this throughout the 90-day challenge is, doing a buddy system at first. Like what did Catherine and I do last night? We were both on the webinar together. So Catherine, what did you think about overall, like having a buddy on there, doing it with somebody else, and also kind of like the combo of the flow of the slides, having all of that information laid out, so all you had to do is walk people through it.
Yeah, I think, and there was just a question about that. Reading the slides or using them as a guide. Number one, for me, yes, as I've said before, sometimes lives can make me a little bit anxious. And I think part of that is because I have my daughter with me at all times. So the guys, it's not just like, oh, I just don't want to do it. Sometimes she is, crying, she's doing all kinds of things, she's making a mess, she needs me, and so my focus is kind of elsewhere, and it gives me a little anxiety. So doing the buddy system with Daniel is very, very helpful to me and anybody else. Like I've done this as well with my personal team and helped them, and it definitely helps. Just the flow of things and the slides are amazing. Just to keep you on track, keep your focus, where you're at. It's not a question of like, okay, what do I say now? No, it's going to be right there in front of you. So you're literally just going to read it. You're going to read through it, and then you're going to talk a little bit. You're not going to just obviously say everything that's on the screen. You're going to go a little bit more in depth, but it's basically just guiding you through what to say and when to say it, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Yep. Yeah, and just so you guys know, over on the live stream, one of the questions that came in here in the Zoom says, can I ask Catherine a question? You mentioned sometimes you're uncomfortable talking, so you just read the slides or use them as a guide. So just like Catherine was saying, they are a guide, and you don't have to literally like read them word for word. You can certainly like, in case you guys haven't realized this over the last 7 years, like I'm a big fan of free flow. So sometimes like I'll catch a topic. And if you guys, I'm sure have seen this on a Mindset Monday, a Teachable, a Focus Friday, where like someone will just give me a topic, or I'll think of a topic and then I just go off. Now, the good news is about the webinar slides is it'll keep you on track. So you can certainly ad lib, you can add extra things in there, But the most important part, guys, is it is a guide, and it's a pre-done guide laid out for you in a really simple and easy way. And all you got to do is go through and just follow it, and that's it. And what's also great about these slides too is you could literally make your own copy. So as an example, like if you made a copy for yourself, and this is exactly what we did for Catherine last night, specifically when it gets to the call to action. Now, obviously, if you guys are using the buddy system, it's going to be a little bit different. But specifically, when you get to the call to action, like what we did last night, right here where it says get back to the person who shared this with you, this is where we literally just inserted Catherine's link right here. So you guys can take the slides that are in this presentation, you can make your own copy of it, and then just put your link in there. So when you do, if you're doing a presentation by yourself, you're doing a webinar by yourself, you can literally just change that link, make it yours, and then the call to action is really stupid simple when they can see it. And it also makes it easy for when people are watching the replay, they know exactly where to go. But if you use the buddy system, you can literally just keep it as is. Okay. So does that make sense, guys? When it comes to that sort of stuff, using these slides, all the information's there. Comment makes sense if that stuff makes sense for you. Catherine, what would be, just unshare here for a minute, like what would be your recommendation to some of the folks that are watching this? Because we got, quite a few watching over on the live stream. We got people here in the Zoom, and our audience is growing every single week because more and more people are coming onto our team. More and more people are kind of looking for guidance to know what to do. Obviously, a webinar can be nerve-wracking. It can be that, like you said, like having like a little bit of anxiety, depending on if you're nervous about getting on camera, if you've never done this sort of thing before, like you have the guide, you know exactly what to do. But what's your advice for someone that they know it's an important part of their business, but they're still kind of hesitant about doing it?
My daughter.
Of
Number
course.
one, I'd say, embrace the discomfort, number one. Okay.
Hmm.
That is where you're going to grow. So, yes, it's uncomfortable. You might not want to do it, but still, push yourself to do it. I'm not saying force, saying push yourself to do it. Like work your way up to the mindset of, okay, I'm going to go live. I'm going to have, obviously a webinar. I'm going to be hosting, do the buddy buddy system to make you feel a little more comfortable. So that way, not all eyes are on you, not all the pressure's on you. And then also as well, like for me, I practice. I practice. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I literally, you probably think, if you saw me, you probably think I'm crazy because I'm like constantly talking to myself as if I'm hosting the webinar and I'm not doing anything. I'm just like in my head, okay, what's the vibe I want to give, the energy? I'll like work myself up to it. That way, when I do it, I've already practiced this. I've already
Hmm.
said it. Sometimes when I come across like areas where like, oh, I might forget, I like me practicing helps me like engage a lot smoother versus if, well, I'm just gonna like pop on the slides and just go for it. I mean, that's cool, but like if it's really like you're nervous, you've never done this before, just practice. Throw the slides up there and act like you're doing a presentation already for nobody, and you're just doing it for yourself so that when whenever you do hit the live button, you've already done this before,
Yep.
technically. That makes
I
sense.
want to, I am so glad. Thank you. I'm so glad you brought that up because I'll give you guys a picture perfect example. Okay. I'm going to show you guys real life. Okay. So these are the slides and these are the slides that we used last night for Catherine. So, what I do, I want to open this up where it says, oh, I don't know if you guys are going to see that. I'll pop these open here for a second. The ones that say Scalability Pro slides. Okay. So several years ago, this was like before the funnel team even existed. Um, I'm just going to open up these slides here because I want to show you guys this real quick. I launched a course, and then I got to present this course to hundreds and hundreds of people that I got onto a Zoom. And I was doing basically like a sales presentation in this webinar. And there's like, I don't even know how many slides. I think yeah, look at there's seven. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's 78 slides. Okay. There's 78 slides that I put this whole thing together, this presentation, for a course that I was selling. And it was $1,000 course. Okay. And I knew this was big for me because, selling $1,000 course, I was going to make a good amount of money. So it was, it was the same principles. Everything that we're sharing with you right now all applied. And there was like a good like 2 week buildup to the webinar. So I got my course ready, I got it done, I got all the training videos made, had everything together. And then once I put the course together, now it was time to fucking sell it. You know what I mean? Like now that I did all the work and I put everything together and I built it all, it's like now I had to go sell it. So my I knew, what did I know? I knew that webinars close sales. Webinar presentations close sales. So what did I do? I piled a bunch of people into a Zoom, literally had about, I don't even know, like somewhere between like 500 and 700 people registered. We had about 200 to 300 people in the meeting itself. And here's the outcome. The outcome was in about 28, maybe it was a little more to like 48 to 72 hours. I made $26,000 from that one webinar. The initial webinar, there was some sales, and then there was a boatload of sales afterwards. But I made $26,000 in like 3 days because of that one webinar. But what a lot of people didn't see was that before we went live and we did that webinar and I walked through those 78 slides, I recorded that webinar on my own like 6 or 7 times before I went live, like the night that I was going to go live, like the big, like, talk about being nervous, right? So I recorded that so I could go back and watch it like 6 or 7 times before I actually did the real presentation. So practiced exactly to what Catherine just said. Practicing really does help because then when I went live, it was like, there was that first, like, as soon as like you go live and everyone pours into the room and you're like, oh, geez, there's hundreds of people here. As soon as I got talking, that's when it just like, I just kind of got in the zone. I was like, I've been through this. I've practiced this. But if I didn't practice that and I had, gone through, I would have been a lot more nervous. I probably would have stumbled some words, or I probably wouldn't have figured out transitions from one slide to the next and how to smoothly transition that. So a great idea is to literally like get on camera and record yourself. Who cares if you feel stupid? Like, you're doing this for you. You're doing this to like get better, to hone your craft, to become a better marketer, a better person, a better speaker. Like, let me ask yourself this and comment yes or no in the comments. If you took those webinar slides and you practiced it 5 times, okay, before you actually did your first real webinar, even if you use the buddy system or not, if you practiced it 5 times, do you think, yes or no, that you would become a better speaker, more confident, you would possibly close more sales, and you would be able to very well use that replay and be, confident about using that replay if you practiced it 5 times before you did it? Comment yes or no. What do you guys think? Live stream, give me some comments. Give me some comments here in the Zoom. Do you guys think you would be better if you practice it, up to 5 times before you actually did it? Okay. Of course. Yes, comments coming in. And that's, Catherine, I'm super, super glad you brought that up because like it really, really does help a lot. And like you even said, right? Like you were practicing beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. And think about it too, guys. I mean, it's not just what we do. Think about professional actors. You don't just give them a script and they just do it flawlessly. They have to practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order for you to, execute, practice is key for literally anything. So, if you're not practicing, no wonder you're nervous. No wonder, you're not doing it or it didn't go well or, just practice, lean into that, hit the record button and act as if you are already live. And again,
Mm-hmm.
it'll help you with those transitions, especially with like the slides and things like that and engagement. I think that is a big part for me because it's easy for you to, go through a webinar, go through slides and just read it and even maybe talk. But whenever you have, think about it, like you need to, call to actions, really engage with your audience. You have those moments whenever you're able to practice and you're like, okay, this is a perfect time to say this, comment this, if whatever. Like, so you're actually engaging and getting feedback while you're on the webinar live. So I think it's just, I don't know, key for sure.
Yeah, 1,000%, guys, 1,000%. And it's all it's going to do by practicing. All it's going to do is help you. You guys got to realize that it's just going to help you. So think of kind of that, like obviously today we're talking a lot about the webinars. We didn't really get into any of the accountability stuff, which we're going to do this week. Don't worry. Trust me, I'm going to hold you accountable. But like, again, we're focusing so much today on the webinar because of how big of a role it can play in your business. But your secret weapon to doing the webinars, guys, is practice. It's the same thing when you see me live or Catherine live or Kirsty live or anybody else live on our team. The reason why it seems so effortless for us to just hang out here and talk to you guys on camera is because I mean, shit, like how many webinars and lives have I done over the last 7 years? I don't fucking know. Like, like a shit ton, a lot, because like all I got to do is press record, and it's like it's just so instinctual now. It's just so ingrained in me. Like I don't, and this is how you could get too. Like you don't even have to think about it. It's like Catherine, if if you're gonna go make some short form videos, like at this point, do you even really have to think about it all that much, or you just press record and it's just like it just flows out?
Definitely could just press record. I mean, when I first got started, yeah, everything had to be really planned. I mean, sometimes I would just record some B-roll and just like I did a lot of the pointing, but now for talking, especially, I mean, I'm just I don't even know where it comes from.
Yeah, but because you've practiced more than most people,
Yeah.
right? Like you've just practiced it so many times, it just becomes second nature. And like, yeah, Darla just commented over here on the live stream. It literally just it becomes your lifestyle. It just becomes, you know, we've talked about this before. Like you habit stack. You build these habits into your daily life and it just becomes habit. Recording a piece of content becomes habit. Doing a webinar every now and then becomes habit. Going live consistently becomes habit. And those habits just get easier and easier and easier over time. And then who knows, like, then you start having fun. Like when we go live, like what we're doing right now, like we're just throwing out value to you guys. We're here, we're hanging out, we're shooting the shit. We're like throwing you guys value. We're trying to teach and train and educate you. Like, this is fun. Like I
Mhm.
enjoy doing this stuff. I know Catherine loves doing this stuff. Like this is what we get to do for a living. And like when you enjoy what you do, it's not really work, and you guys can get to that point too, where it's just fun. You press record and it's fun. You go live with someone and it's fun. You get in a room in a Zoom with people and it's fun. Isn't
Yeah,
that how you guys want to get? Like,
it's not about being perfect. It's not about getting everything exactly right. Show up, be yourself, and invest, learn, teach, right? You are there to then teach someone else what you know. So, really, like, hone into that authority position that you have. Like, people are showing up for you. That's incredible. That's amazing. Give yourself a pat on the back and move forward with, I got this. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, just do it.
mm-hmm. Replying to a comment here over on the live stream. All right, there we go. Yeah, there was a comment over on the live stream. Wasn't this yesterday? I think they were thinking that this was last night's webinar, but now we're just kind of talking about the importance of webinars and
Yeah.
obviously a lot of other things involved in and around that. So plain and simple. Um, what it all boils down to again, guys, just when you look at the 90-day checklist, the massive action game plan, it's just going to do the work. So how many of you, gut check time, how many of you guys are going to do a webinar this week? Comment webinar. Okay, let's see who's really going to own it this week and go after it. And please, if you need to, use the buddy system. That's exactly what we did last night. Okay. Catherine and I went live last night. We used the buddy system and we did that again, just showing you guys like two people can do it. And, you guys can go rock it and crush it. If you guys are going to do a webinar this week, comment webinar and then let us know when specifically you're going to do that. And if you need to use the buddy system, if you want to do it with someone, put your hand up and say, hey, I could use some help, or, does anyone want to do it with me or whatever? But, be there to support each other. Let's be that active, engaging community that is helping each other win. I've already seen a lot of you guys really, really grow over the last 27 days. You guys are stretching yourself. Your comfort zone is getting a little bit bigger. But the whole point here, guys, is just to keep going, keep pushing. And, Catherine, you said it yourself, like, don't force it, but push it, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. I
So
mean, if I never pushed myself to be here, I'd still be at my job.
that's true.
I
That's true.
would.
Because, I mean, I remember you talking, a while ago, like, you thought when you were first getting started and you were, I think you had referenced like some of the videos, like where you kind of dance and point and it's like, like, what is my family going to think of what I'm doing? And then you're like, who gives a shit what they think? Because like they're not paying your bills.
Yeah, I had a lot of comments like, what are you doing? And this was 3 years ago. Digital marketing, like affiliate marketing, where it is today has skyrocketed. It's like on steroids right now. So like
Yep.
now it's a little more common. I feel like 3 years ago you had to kind of search for it a little more than what you do now. So when they seen me, it was like, what are you doing?
Yep.
What is this? Is this a scam? Like literally people, my
Yeah.
own family. So yeah, you have to believe in yourself. You got to just push yourself. You're here. You know that it works. You've seen the proof in the pudding. Like you're here for a reason, and it's to build and grow not only yourself, but your income. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to, like we just said, push yourself out of your comfort zone because
Hmm.
if you've continued to do the same thing over the last, say, 5, 10 years, 20 years, and you're not getting a different result, well, that goes to show you that you need to do something different. So just really push yourself, embrace the journey, really.
Yep. That's it. And just, to your point there, Catherine, it's like if you're not getting the results you want, remember, it comes down to two things. If you're not getting the results you want, it's either one, something you don't know, or two, something you're not doing. Well, you guys know you can't use the I don't know excuse anymore because you know what to do. We give you literally everything that you could be doing. So then it just comes down to you're not doing it. So if you're not getting the results you want, there's something you're not doing. So go do it. Like, is that simple enough, guys? Comment simple if that sounds simple enough. And it sounds simple because it is simple. Now you just gotta decide, do I want to do it or do I want to stay comfy in my little box? Or do I want to push myself and get more results, more leads, more sales, more income, that sort of thing. Just like Catherine did, 3+ years ago, where she started pushing herself out of her comfort zone. She started doing things that at the time made her feel a little uncomfortable and then got comfortable. And now it's literally just second nature. Now it's
And
just,
3 years ago, I was sitting in your seat. I would watch Daniel Monday through Friday every single morning, without fail. Like I was there. I was there to learn, and every single thing that Daniel like had talked about, I did. I did to the maximum of what I, possibly could, doing lives that made me super, super uncomfortable. Of course, talking on camera, showing my face consistently, because for me, I do want to connect. So I think I am my brand. You are your brand, and you should embrace that. So I'm like, well, let's just get it over with. Let's do it. And I wanted the success so bad. You have to actually want it to be, push yourself to actually do the work. If you don't want it bad enough, then the excuses come easy. So, oh, we got a friend.
yeah, I don't know what happened there.
But just my point of I was in you guys' seat 3 years ago listening to Daniel, and now I'm right next to him, which is amazing.
Yep. That's just it, guys. That's just it. So All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Catherine, thanks so much for hanging out here with us today, and awesome job on your webinar last night. I'm sure you're gonna net a lot more sales over the next several days as you're driving a lot of traffic to that. She already shared with you guys exactly what she's doing: Facebook posts, stories, reels, Insta, all of that thing. Driving traffic to her YouTube channel, getting people to see the replay, and doing massive amounts of follow-up. And plain and simple, it's already generated multiple sales. It's going to generate multiple more. And it works, guys. It literally works. So thank you guys for hanging out with us today. If you guys got value from today over on the live stream here in the Zoom, drop a, value comment down below. And we will see you guys live tomorrow for day number 28. We are rolling right along here. We're about a little over 25% of the way through the 90-day challenge, guys. So this is going all the way till the end of June. So hang in there. Keep showing up every single day. Keep learning. Catherine, any last words before we wrap up today?
Not really, just do as we say. Really, you're here to learn, so it's now time to implement. You got this.
Implementation, guys. Implementation is key. You guys can sit and watch video after video after video and take no action. But if you implement and you take action, that's when the results come. So, Catherine, again, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you, and appreciate all of you guys for chiming in, commenting, being here. Just keep moving forward every single day, guys, and we will see you tomorrow.